Different cultures all have different ideas of pertaining around the theme of death. While some cultures may mourn death, other cultures choose to embrace it as a way of life. And as you will learn, one of the cultures that does this is the Mexican culture. So since I am of Mexican descent, I wanted to teach you guys more about the unique celebration of Dia de los Muertos. And so learning about Dia de los Muertos will provide us with a better knowledge of the origins of this festival and its celebration in Mexico, as well as in other countries around the world. First, I will cover the history of Dia de los Muertos, and second, the ways in which it is celebrated in its country of origin, Mexico. And then finally, I will discuss its international recognition and how it is celebrated in our city of Los Angeles. So first, we must ask each other the question, what is the history behind this celebration? So, also known as Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, oh, sorry, that. Oh no, that, please. Oh, sorry. Okay, yes. Okay, sorry. Also known as Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos was not always celebrated in the way we are accustomed to celebrating it today. So according to author or journalist Nadine Danino in a 2013 article published by the International Business Times, Dia de los Muertos is actually a hybrid of both ancient Aztec philosophy and European customs and traditions that were brought by the Spaniards during or in the midst of their 16th century conquest of Mesoamerica. So prior to the Spanish conquest, however, the Aztecs had a special month in which they would hold this festival in which they would honor the dead or dead fallen warriors, they would honor dead children, any dead ancestors, and they would dedicate this month in the summer, which it was held in the summer, to honoring the dead. And scholars have also gathered evidence that suggests that they actually would build altars and they would hold offerings such as food also to their relatives. So when the Spanish conquistadors came in the 16th century, they brought with them some of their own customs and traditions, and one of the customs that they brought with them was All Souls Day or All Saints Day. And basically this holiday is celebrated in Europe and in other Christian or Catholic nations, and basically they also honor the dead and the souls of those who they believe to be trapped in purgatory. So while they were observing the Aztecs, they saw a correlation between their holiday and the Aztec festivities, and over periods of time, there was a cultural blending, and that's the reason behind why we celebrate Dia de los Muertos on November 1st and 2nd instead of in the summer. So now that we have discussed the origins of Dia de los Muertos and how the Spanish influence changed it over time, we can move on to our second point of analyzing how it is celebrated in its country of origin, Mexico. So first I will talk about some basic rituals and ideologies, and then I will talk about or discuss some common foods that are, go back please, sorry. Some common foods that are associated with this, one more, this holiday. No, oh, sorry. Right here, sorry. Okay, so in Mexico, Dia de los Muertos is celebrated over the span of 2 days. So this was actually according to an article, a journal article, titled Day of the Dead, published, an online article called Day of the Dead. Dr. Constance Cortez, the author of this article, said that the first day of this celebration is actually known as Dia de los Angelitos because on this day they honor and commemorate dead children. And the second day, most commonly known as Dia de los Muertos, is to commemorate everybody else. And during this time, family members go to the gravesites and they will decorate the gravesites of their ancestors with candles, beautiful marigolds, which are these flowers posted here, photos, and anything to represent or honor that person. And it's a very beautiful way of honoring the dead. And at home, they would build altars or ofrendas to these people, to their relatives. If you can go to the next page, please. And so that's a picture of an altar, and they'll basically just do the same thing and decorate it with all these amulets, religious amulets, anything to honor And some of the most common foods associated with this holiday are pan de muerto and sugar skulls that are depicted on the bottom, and also traditional dishes such as tamales, or they will prepare dishes that are associated with that particular person, like favorite dishes that they enjoy during their lifetime. So after discussing the ways in which it is celebrated in Mexico and what it has come to symbolize, we will explore its international recognition and its influence in our home city of LA. So while Dia de los Muertos is seen as a national Mexican holiday and one of the biggest annual celebrations that they have in Mexico, it's also internationally recognized. And to name a few, if you can go to the next page, some of the countries that celebrate Dia de los Muertos are also Guatemala, Spain, and Brazil, but those are only to name a few. And also the United States, of course, in some cities that have a significant Mexican population. So one of those cities is, of course, our own city of Los Angeles. And so according to a 2014 Los Angeles census published by the United States Census Bureau, Los Angeles actually currently has a 48.8% Mexican or Hispanic population. So it's a huge amount. So we have a huge influence of Spanish or Mexican traditions. And so this influence is really big in Los Angeles, and one of the places where you can enjoy this is actually Olvera Street, which is not far from here, and it's a landmark in LA. And during this time, you can go and partake in dances, parades. You can see ofrendas, and it's just a beautiful representation of this holiday. So now we can wrap things up. As I close my speech, you have a better knowledge of the Dia de los Muertos after having explained the history of this festival's origins and how it's important to Mexico and many other countries around the world. First, I stated the history and its evolution, and then I explained the many ways in which Mexicans honor the dead during this time, and finally I discussed its international influence. So, as a memorable closer, the cycle of life and death make up the total of our human existence. As Dia de los Muertos teaches us, death is never the end, but rather a reason to celebrate life. So I challenge you all to do so. Thank you.